In all my time forward driving, I've really only ever used this Kings Thumper Max to inflate my tyres. I recently got into the 40-volt Makita ecosystem with a small chainsaw for track clearing and firewood duties, and that got me thinking, what other tools could I convert to that 40-volt system? And the obvious one is the air compressor. So the question is, can this little 40-volt Makita MP001GZ inflator compete with the iconic Thumper Max? The Makita is a much less common choice for airing up four-wheel drive tyres, so I'm curious to see, is it actually capable? How does it compare time-wise, speed-wise? What battery consumption can I expect? And overall, is it any more convenient? So the test we're going to do today is fill up four four-wheel drive tyres from 15 psi up to 40 psi, and this replicates the common situation that I'm in at the end of a trip. When we finally hit the bitumen, we air up on the way home. Let's have a quick look at these two compressors. The Kings is a 12-volt compressor and has these direct battery clamps to power it. It costs about 150 bucks, but depending on Kings sales and combo deals, they're changing all the time. You probably get it for less than that. There's also a digital version now for about another 100 bucks. It boasts a impressive 300 litres per minute air delivery, but I'd say with the back pressure, as you're between 30 and 40 psi, you're probably closer to 200 litres per minute. The Makita skin alone is $249, but if you haven't gotten into the battery ecosystem yet, you're up for about that again to get a 4 amp hour battery to go with it. There's 18 volt equivalents of this unit, and the competing brands like Milwaukee have some great offerings that are similar to this. It weighs 2.2 kilos and the battery another 1 kilo. It has an air delivery of 24 litres per minute per the specs, but in that range where you're approaching 40 psi, it's probably more like 20 litres per minute. And for tool connoisseurs, this one features a brushed motor. These tyres are Yokohama Geolandar Geo16 all-terrain tyres, and their size 235/85/16, aka they're a skinny tyre and about 32 inches tall. All of the tyres are cold and they're all at 15 psi. I double checked it using the digital gauge on the Makita before we started, so they're all on an even playing field. I'm going to start the test in the driver's seat, hit the stopwatch, and I'll grab each compressor out from the back seat behind me, just like I would do on a roadside stop, and we'll see how long it takes at a reasonable leisurely pace to pump up the four tyres. Kings first. Ready, get set, go. And stop. 13 minutes and 25 seconds. 13 and a half minutes, that's pretty good, I reckon. You would have seen me running to the front of the car and back and forth. That's because on the handle there's no way to turn on and off the compressor, of course. So you've got to turn the compressor off here because the power cables aren't that long. So you can't carry the unit around the car with you. So it's handy if you've got two people, because one person can stay at the compressor and you can yell out, start, stop, start, stop. Otherwise, you've got to, if you're by yourself, you've got to turn it off, go back to the nozzle, check the gauge, see where you're at, turn it on again for a bit longer, etc. So that's become my biggest frustration with this unit. It does generate a bit of heat in that time frame. I'm not really giving it a big rest in that 15 minutes. We'll talk about that. Let's reset the test, tyres back down to 15, and see what the Makita can do. All right, we've pulled up. Timer starts now. This is a different style of video for Out There with Dan. Please let me know you like it by pressing the like button. I'm honing the craft and trying to make videos that best serve you. So what's happened here is I've gotten to just over 30 psi, 32 psi in the final tyre, and it's cutting off. I can feel there's a lot of heat being generated in the hose and I'm touching the unit. So I think it needs a rest. So I'm giving it a couple of minutes and we'll resume. All right, so we've gotten to 38 psi. In reality, I'd probably at this point knock 2 psi out of the other front one and keep going. So in the real world, it's finished, but I did say I would get it to 40 psi, so I'm going to let it cool down a sec. I'll just check what the timer's up to. Timer is about to click over 20 minutes. So that's a good 7 minutes or a third longer than the Kings. So we'll see how long it takes us to get to 40 exactly. The recommended duty cycle's 15 minutes on, 5 minutes off. I really just want to rush it and get there, but we better let it cool, do the right thing. All right, there it is, 40 psi in the car. Like I said, leisurely pace, and we're at 24 minutes. You would have seen that round that I wasn't pacing back and forward to the front of the car. I had more time to play with the kids, to grab my camera and fiddle around. There's a few reasons for that. The first reason is you can see the PSI reading whilst the device is on. So within a couple of PSI accuracy, you know if you're getting close. So you could be talking to someone, making a snack, grabbing a drink, and at a glance you can go, yep, we're halfway, we're getting close, whatever. And then once you get closer, you just fine tune it, pulling the trigger, checking it, pulling the trigger. One limitation of this machine is that you've got to be holding the trigger for air to be going, for the machine to work. So I've got this highly calibrated tool, a bit of wood with some tape on it, and I wedge that in under the trigger. So that allows it to automatically do its thing. It won't go past the PSI that you've set, so the machine won't turn off automatically, but the air won't keep flowing in. So you can just let it go and then check on it, and then when it's close, you know, make sure you're happy with it. Compared to the Kings, I think that's the main benefit. It's portable, you just walk around the vehicle, and it's nice not having to have your vehicle on, and it's much less noisy. So yeah, a few things there to consider. In the heat of the moment, I forgot to show you the battery usage. Haven't charged this since. A standard 4 amp hour battery, and it's got 3 out of 4 bars. So I'd suggest somewhere closer to 75% of the battery left, but could be a bit lower, closer to 50%. I think that's pretty good. I got the idea to do this video because I've used this on one trip so far. We popped out of the Alpine region into Jamison, and I came home that way, so I pumped up tyres on the side of the road in Jamison. The tyres were between 18 and 20 psi, not 15. And with that setup, 4 tyres like that, I still had 4 bars according to the battery. So I was super impressed with that, and if I'm honest, I was hoping to get that in the driveway in this test as well. I figure tyres were a little bit higher, so didn't have to work as long and as hard, and it was probably a bit cooler as well, being up at higher altitude. So that's pretty good though. We're talking, you know, still heaps of battery left. I've got a 5 amp hour battery as well. I'll probably use that for my other 40 volt tools, including the chainsaw. And because of the importance of the compressor, I'll probably keep it dedicated, or keep this one fully charged and spare, ready to go in case I need the compressor. I came up with some criteria to guide the discussion, to compare the units, before we even did the test. Let's see which one takes it out in each of these categories. Inflation time, 15 to 40 psi, 4 tyres. Well, the Kings clearly won. Noise, Makita any day of the week. For most people with the Kings, they're going to have their bonnet up, their engine on, and this thing makes an awful ruckus itself. The Makita's still loud, it has a distinctive buzzing sound, but it's much quieter and you can have a conversation standing next to it. You're probably going to enjoy your roadside stop more if you haven't got all that noise in the background. Heat generation, we'll talk about duty cycles in a sec, they're closely related. Ultimately, the Makita needed to tap out and said, it put its hand up and said, nah, I'm getting too hot. I don't want to damage myself. I'm done for a bit. The Kings did get pretty warm as well. In hot weather, I've had times when I would be able to burn myself on parts of it, but in cooler weather, I've never had a problem. And it's never turned itself off on me. I have had it seemingly slow down, like struggle in hot weather, but it hasn't stopped on me. So they both get hot. This one's probably just a little smarter and safer, but if you want to absolutely smash the Kings, it'll probably go the distance. Ease of setup and hose length, the Makita wins, hands down. This thing, you've got to pop the bonnet, clamp the battery, you've got a long hose you've got to run, and you've got to walk back to the machine to turn it off. This thing, you make sure your battery's plugged in, unclip the hose off the side there, and you're ready to go. This is much simpler, and probably one of the real selling points is that convenience. What's next? Power source. You'll probably think I'll say this thing, but assuming you're pumping up 4-wheel drive tires, you've probably got an engine and you've probably got 12 volt. So this thing's actually a way more convenient power supply. With this, you've got to make sure you've got, well, first of all, batteries. Second of all, you've got to make sure they're charged, and potentially, probably, you're going to need a way to charge the batteries in the bush. So in terms of convenience, the power supply for this is heaps better. Storage size and weight. The Makita's a little smaller than the Thumper, but not a huge amount. You can take off the battery, of course, and that makes it even smaller, and it's light enough and thin enough that you can slot it into smaller spaces. With this, I'm reluctant to even lift it off the table. I'll probably do my back. It's heavier and it's slightly bigger, and it has more of the footprint and the bulk of a 5 or 10 litre jerry can. So you've got to store it down lower in your vehicle, takes up a bit more real estate, and the base plate's pretty big. There's not much you can do about its bulky size. Cost to get started. Well, this thing is just great value. If all you want to do is pump up 4 tyres at the lowest possible cost, you really can't go past this. Sort of the cost to get started, 150, 160 bucks, that'll get you out there. If you're already in battery tools, I still think that 200, 250 bucks is a reasonable price point for this, but the Kings takes it out on price. Let's talk about duty cycles. The Makita's got a duty cycle of 10 minutes on, 5 minutes off, and this unit's got a duty cycle of 5 minutes on and 15 minutes off. It was ultimately the Makita that tapped out and said, nah, I need a rest. In that time I mentioned when I used it in Jamison, it did do all 4 tyres without stopping at around 18 to 20 PSI up to 40, and it was probably a bit cooler. So it's sort of touch and go whether you can do all 4 tyres in one hit without a rest. But you could do 2 tyres, take 3 minutes, do the others, and you'll probably be fine. This thing does get hot, but I've never had it really cut off on me. So it just chugs along. If you do want to follow the manufacturer's recommendations on this, I've done some calculations which I think you'll find interesting. If you look at the marketing specs alone, 300 litres per minute for the Kings versus 24 litres per minute for the Makita, that's what 12 times is better air delivery. But if you look at the fine print, the Makita at this PSI with back pressure is more likely around 20 litres per minute, and the Kings is probably more like 200. I'll put some links in the description about where I got to those numbers. So we discussed the minutes on and minutes off in each of the duty cycles, and therefore the total duty cycle time. And if you look at one duty cycle, minutes on, I've worked out that the Makita will deliver 200 litres of air and the Kings 1,000 litres of air. So if you look at that in terms of 1 hour, so 4 duty cycles in an hour and 3 duty cycles in an hour, that means that the total air that you can deliver is 800 litres per hour and 3,000 litres per hour. So that's an actual value in 1 hour versus a theoretical 12 times as fast. So really it's only I can't do the maths now, 3.2 times. My dodgy maths, guys, it's 3.75 times. So 3,000 divided by 800 equals 3.75. What I wanted to get at with this was, this is kind of like the hare in the race, and this is the tortoise. This thing's crude, it's powerful, but it's got to stop and start if you actually use it how the manufacturer says you should. Whereas this, you know, it just chugs along and it gets the job done. So tortoise and hare. The verdict, the Kings is heavy, it's crude, it's loud, and it does the job. This one's over a decade old, still going strong, been all around Australia. If you just want a no-fuss solution for pumping up your tyres when you need to, and you've got no plans to have any other battery tools, then I'd recommend going ahead and getting one of these. If you've already got battery tools, or one day you're planning on having a collection of them, then these compressors are light, less noisy, and give you flexibility with being able to be used for bike tyres, for those sorts of things. So more flexibility. And that comes at the expense of taking a little longer for your four-wheel drive tyres, being a little bit more expensive, and needing to be prepared with a battery. I'm confident that this Makita unit can replace the Thumper Max in my use case, so I'm going to continue the experiment. Would you be confident to make the change yourself?